If you're going to try to date an independent chick, make sure that you are very secure with yourself because they do not need you. They want you. There's a big difference. An independent woman is not made for an insecure man. That's facts.
I was at my grandmother's 93rd birthday, and there was a whole room full with maybe 70 people that came from that one woman. Isn't that remarkable? Yeah. That nobody cared about her career. Nobody asked what job she did. Nobody asked how many times she went to the club. Nobody asked if she had time to go to festivals. No. You had 70 sentient beings, including myself, full of life from one woman who dedicated herself to being a mother and a good wife. That is beautiful. And if you sit here and genuinely think that you're going to work your ass off through your fertile years and by the age of 54, you're not going to be suicidal alone with a cat, then you're dumb. You are dumb. You are dumb.
Guys, a word of advice. Marry pretty women or ugly ones, short ones or tall ones, blondes or brunettes. Just, whatever you do, don't marry a woman with a career. Why? Because if many social scientists are to be believed, you run a higher risk of having a rocky marriage. While everyone knows that marriage can be stressful, recent studies have found professional women are more likely to get divorced, more likely to cheat, less likely to have children, and if they do have kids, they are more likely to be unhappy about it. A recent study in Social Forces, a research journal, found that women, even those with a feminist outlook, are happier when their husband is the primary breadwinner. Not a happy conclusion, especially given that many men, particularly successful men, are not attracted to women with similar goals and aspirations. And why not? After all, your typical career girl is well-educated, ambitious, informed and engaged. All seemingly good things, right? Sure, at least until you get married. Then, to put it bluntly, the more successful she is, the more likely she is to grow dissatisfied with you. Sound familiar? Many factors contribute to a stable marriage, including the marital status of your spouse's parents, because folks with divorced parents are significantly more likely to get divorced themselves, age, marriage, race, religious beliefs, and socio-economic status. And of course, many working women are indeed happily and fruitfully married. It's just that they are less likely to be so than non-working women, and that, statistically speaking, is the rub. To be clear, we're not talking about a high school dropout minding a cash register. For our purposes, a career girl has a university level or higher education, works more than 35 hours a week outside the home, and makes more than $30,000 a year. If a host of studies are to be believed, marrying these women is asking for trouble. If they quit their jobs and stay home with the kids, they will be unhappy. That's according to Journal of Marriage and Family, 2003. They will be unhappy if they make more money than you do. You will be unhappy if they make more money than you do. You will be more likely to fall ill, and even your house will be dirtier, according to Institute for Social Research. Why? Well, despite the fact that the link between work, women, and divorce rates is complex and controversial, much of the reasoning is based on a lot of economic theory and a bit of common sense. In classic economics, a marriage is, at least in part, an exercise in labor specialization. Traditionally, men have tended to do market or paid work outside the home, and women have tended to do non-market or household work, including raising children. All of the work must get done by somebody, and this pairing, regardless of who is in the home and who is outside the home, accomplishes that goal. Nobel laureate Gary S. Becker argued that when the labor specialization in a marriage decreases and, for example, both spouses have careers, the overall value of the marriage is lower for both partners because less of the total needed work is getting done, making life harder for both partners and divorce more likely. And indeed, empirical studies have concluded just that. In 2004, John H. Johnson examined data from the Survey of Income and Program Participation and concluded that gender has a significant influence on the relationship between work hours and increases in the probability of divorce. Women's work hours consistently increase divorce, whereas increases in men's work hours often have no statistical effect. I also find that the incidence in divorce is far higher in couples where both spouses are working than in couples where only one spouse is employed, Johnson says. A few other studies which have focused on employment as opposed to working hours, have concluded that working outside the home actually increases marital stability, at least when the marriage is a happy one. But even in these studies, wise employment does correlate positively to divorce rates, when the marriage is of low marital quality. The other reason a career can hurt a marriage will be obvious to anyone who has seen their mate run off with a co-worker. When your spouse works outside the home, chances increase they'll meet someone they like more than you. The work environment provides a host of potential partners, and individuals frequently find themselves spending a great deal of time with these individuals. There's more. According to a wide-ranging review of the published literature, highly educated people are more likely to have had extramarital intercourse. Those with graduate degrees are 1.75 more likely to have cheated than those with high school diplomas. Additionally, women who earn more than $30,000 a year are more likely to cheat. And if the cheating leads to divorce, you're really in trouble. Divorce has been positively correlated with higher rates of alcoholism, clinical depression, and suicide. Other studies have associated divorce with increased rates of cancer, stroke, and STDs. Plus, divorce is financially devastating. According to one recent study on marriage and divorce's impact on wealth, divorced people see their overall net worth drop an average of 77%. So why not just stay single? Because academically speaking, a solid marriage has a host of benefits beyond just individual happiness. There are broader social and health implications as well. According to a 2004 paper entitled Benefits of Marriage, marriage is positively associated with better outcomes for children under most circumstances, higher earnings for adult men, and being married and being in a satisfying marriage are positively associated with health and negatively associated with mortality. In other words, a good marriage is associated with a higher income, a longer, healthier life, and better adjusted kids. A word of caution though, as with any social scientific study, it's important not to confuse correlation with causation. In other words, just because married folks are healthier than single people, it doesn't mean that marriage is causing the health gains. It could just be that healthier people are more likely to be married. A woman with a career has a different attitude than a woman who stays home to be industrious in her own home. She carries an independence about her that literally keeps her emotionally detached from her husband, whether she realizes this or not. This is also a fact. Where a woman's heart is, there you will discover her priorities. A stay-at-home wife is concerned with the things of the home, and a career woman is concerned with things of her employment or business and self. When a wife's priorities are outside of the home, it ultimately makes intimacy between husband and wife strained. A husband needs his wife emotionally and physically and spiritually and every which way. Wives should not be neglecting their husband's needs because of money. That would be foolish. Most career women behave bossy and demanding with their husbands just because of a feministic attitude. Her demanding attitude makes her become the head of the household. She micromanages her husband and makes the decisions in the home. Many husbands cower and cringe to their wives' domineership because they don't want to cause any waves, or they don't realize they have given up their headship role to their wives. Essentially, it is in her attitude which makes her a feminist. She may think she is not a feminist, but her behavior and attitude says otherwise. Men and women are different, so is masculinity and femininity. Those differences complement and support each other. A man is equipped with strength and women with femininity. This is how they encourage one another in their natural roles. In Sweden, which ranks first in the EU's Gender Equality Index, thanks to factors like generous parental leave, subsidized daycare, and flexible working arrangements, economists recently studied how promotions to top jobs affected the probability of divorce for each gender. The result: women were much more likely to pay a higher personal price for their career success. Promotion to a top job in politics increases the divorce rate of women, but not for men. And women who become CEOs divorce faster than men who become CEOs, summarizes a professor at Stockholm University and co-author of the research, which was published earlier this month in American Economic Journal. The paper found that married women were twice as likely to be divorced 3 years after their promotion to CEO level compared to their male counterparts. In the public sector, using 3 decades worth of records, women mayors and parliamentarians promoted after an election doubled their chances of splitting from their partners. 75% were still married 8 years after the vote, compared with 85% of those who didn't get promoted, while there was no evidence of a similar effect for men. Female medical doctors, police officers and priests who progressed in their careers also followed the trend. Many couples experience stress and friction when there are changes in the division of their economic and social roles, for example, due to the impact on the amount of leisure time they can spend together or how they divide up household tasks. But this, the research team argues, is often amplified when it is the woman who is promoted because it creates more of a mismatch of expectations. It is also the power perception. Who wears the pants, who brings in more money. Men today often find it intriguing in the beginning and want to be seen to support you and root for you. That is a very positive thing, but a few steps down the line, when reality kicks in, it can be more difficult for men to deal with. High-income and high-status women don't marry a low-income man who wants to be a house husband. They tend to seek an even more high-income husband. But thinking forward to your possibilities in the labor market, this might not be ideal. All these are pointers to marriages that lead to an early divorce. Therefore, the advice is that men shouldn't marry career women. Women should know that men value their ego than anything else, are built to provide for and not to compete with women, and anything that reverts them from these roles will cause problems. Career women strive to prove that their ego is as equally important, and they can be like men too. This is why career women don't last in marriages, because they are equal to men, and therefore it's very hard for them to submit. As a man, we recommend that you avoid these kind of women in any long-term relationship or marriage. It will save you from tons of headaches and arguments. All right, tell us what you think down in the comments below. Is there anything good in marrying a career woman today? Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching.